Railroads have been a part of Kent's history for more than 150 years. But did you know that for 65 of those years, the Erie Railroad was one of the largest employers in Kent? Marvin Kent, a prominent entrepreneur after whom our town is named, was instrumental in the coming of the railroad, which was chartered as the Franklin and Warren in March of 1851 and soon renamed the Atlantic and Great Western Railroad of Ohio. Kent served as its president for more than a decade. Tracks for the railroad were laid through Ravenna and Kent to Akron in the early 1860s. From 1860 to 1865, its offices were in the Revere Block in downtown Kent. In August 1865, the railroad was consolidated with its counterparts in Pennsylvania and New York and renamed the Atlantic and Great Western Railroad. Because of financial troubles, it was taken over by the Erie Railroad in the 1890s. Railroads have engines and rolling stock that need to be maintained, and in 1864, the Atlantic and Great Western built a sizable shop on land donated by Marvin Kent. Stone quarried from just a few blocks away was used for a series of buildings along Mogador Road behind the current post office, and included a variety of shops, a foundry, and a roundhouse with turntable. While locomotive service and repairs moved elsewhere in 1872, the shops remained in use to build and repair passenger and freight cars. According to Bruce Zetta's book Railroad Town, Kent and the Erie Railroad, for 65 years the various types of railroad cars needed by the Erie, including flat cars, tank cars, gondolas, and the common 40-foot wooden box cars, were built here, as well as many passenger cars. Many tradesmen, including carpenters, joiners, pipe fitters, painters, and other highly skilled workers, found employment in the Kent railroad shops. The grounds were full of stacks of thick lumber, large and heavy sets of wheels, barrels and boxes of nails, screws, and nuts, and everything else needed to build and repair the rolling stock of a major and growing railroad. In the days before women were allowed to vote, politicians who wanted to reach a large number of Kent voters would stage a rally or give a speech at the car shop grounds. Each Independence Day, large crowds would gather there to watch fireworks. Right from the start, the shops made a major impact, employing roughly 300 people by 1870. Laborers were mostly Catholic Irish, who lived close by on the south side of Kent, in small homes on streets like Harris, Oak, Elm, and Cedar. The managerial class and craftsmen were mostly Protestant, and built homes on the west side of Kent. At its height during the late 19-teens, the shop had 800 workers on its payroll. African Americans began working for the Erie and Kent during World War I, around 1916 or so, having come up from the south after being recruited by the railroads. Unfortunately, the 1920s saw the demise of the shops for a variety of reasons, including a nationwide strike in 1922 and the declining economy. When the Kent shops closed in March of 1930, as the Erie Railroad moved its car maintenance elsewhere, only about 150 workers were still there. In the same year, most of the shop buildings burned to the ground as a result of a large fire that was probably set by an arsonist. Only 2 buildings remain today. They are owned and used by Davy Drill, a manufacturer of drill rigs and other heavy drilling equipment. While very little remains of the Erie shops in Kent, they have left a lasting impact on the city. Many workers built their homes in neighborhoods that still exist today, and the shops have given Kent a proud legacy as a railroad town.